unilateral C6 without transposition. So, but full missing tubercle. And the first thing I do, I'm just going to take, this video is just going to be a little snippet of groundwork, posture work that I do with him every day. I do with all the horses every day, but with the ECVM horses, it's really essential because posturally, a lot of them anyway, are not in the greatest posture. They're like kind of already compensating at zero. So we want to help them be a little bit in better posture before we do anything else. I'll try to find a video of him from when he first came. His posture is still not super great. It's probably not ever going to be super great, but definitely much better top line than he came with, that he has naturally. And so we just keep working very, very slowly to improve that. We'll do my, plug for groundwork, because I just think I started doing horsemanship, I don't know, 15 years ago, maybe, with a horse who I now think had ECVM. Of course, at the time, I didn't know that. I just thought he was crazy. But it was mandatory. Like, there's no way. He was unrideable unless you do groundwork. And I spent 5 years learning horsemanship to help with that horse, and of course realized it would help with all of the horses. Even my Grand Prix horse at the time, who was just a really good boy, still improved him, improved his connection, improved his way of going. So I just think I would never, once my experience is, once I started doing groundwork, you won't ever not do it. It just makes such a big difference in the riding, I believe. So the amount of time it takes is 100% worth it, in my opinion. And again, with the ECVM horses, I think it's really pretty much essential. I wouldn't want to ride one without doing groundwork. So having said that, this horse, his biggest symptom, I guess I would say, is that unsafe feeling in his body. He is spooky. He is pretty good about going forward now. He wasn't when I started him, but he learns the aids. They're very, the one thing I will say on a positive note, all of the ECVM horses I have ever known were very, very willing, sweet horses, which is kind of the oxymoron of ECVM, because they can't really do it, but man, they sure do try way more than a healthy horse would. In fact, if I have a stubborn horse now, I actually think, oh, well, they're probably healthy, at least in their axial skeleton. Just a different perspective than I guess most people have in the industry, but that's 100% what I've found to be true. The horses that have an opinion or are difficult, tend to be actually the healthier ones. To me, these horses, the only pushback you're going to get from an ECVM horse is if you just flood them with pressure and force them to do stuff. Then for sure they're going to either fight back or just panic. The vast majority of them will just submit and take it. And that's kind of why, I think people say, oh, they have horses competing at the highest level. It's like, yeah, that just tells you what those riders are doing. They're just basically taking the horse and making them do the movements, which they will 100% do, even though it is probably beyond their actual capability, certainly beyond their capability comfortably. But that's why you see all the pain indicators and stress indicators at the top levels, in my opinion. Because, dressage should not be that, what it is now, at least at the top levels. Going to your local dressage show, I've only had really positive experiences around here, and I live in North Carolina. The vast majority of people going to local shows are really nice, kind riders. Their horses are relatively relaxed. There isn't what you see at the top sport, which is unfortunate. People don't get to see it because it's definitely better than top sport. But the first thing I do, getting off topic, is make sure he can walk around once each way. And I know that sounds elementary, but it is not with a horse like this. He sometimes is scared to go into the corner where the pigeons usually hang out. Actually, the pigeons are over here right now, but this is what I would consider his comfortable end of the arena is down here. So, I just make sure he's relaxed and he will go around the arena. If he won't, I will switch to being on the outside. So like if he's scared of this long side, I'll lead him from the outside. So I'm protecting him from whatever he's worried about. Today, he doesn't seem concerned about that at all. And this actually for him is pretty good posture. He's not hollow in his back. He's not dropped in the sling. But I will say his demeanor, so I'd say he's more relaxed than normal, but also his demeanor is a little bit, I'll just call it sleepy. So I'm a little bit suspect, like how good does he feel today? Maybe he's relaxed because he's like exhausted. So, you just kind of have to go with your sense of what you feel like the horse is communicating at the time. I also do some hands-on work called De Bono moves, which is based on a Feldenkrais modality, and it's just non-habitual movements and touch therapy. It's kind of like Masterson, I would say, most like Masterson of body work. Yeah, good boy. I know. And this is the spot, the back of C6. It's okay, bud. Okay, so he walked around both directions. I do put the stirrups down, just make sure he has the experience of that hitting his body. Sometimes these horses can forget their training a little bit. So you always want to, he is a young horse, so I'm going to treat him like one, but even the older ones, I'm going to go through the protocol like they were babies. Good. So the first thing I do is what I call tetherball, which is a little bit of a horsemanship thing, side pass. I can't even remember what the horsemanship term is called, but it's not tetherball, but that's what I call it. So you basically have the horse facing you and you ask him to lift his withers and move through his haunches. You don't want to do it fast. You will have him a little bit crossing both front and hind, but you would like way more hind than front. There he just walked off a little bit too much. I'd like him facing me. And there, of course, he did this too fast because he gets a little bit scared. Go on, good boy. You just want to do him deliberately. So he deliberately knows where his feet are, deliberately moving through the body, deliberately lifting his shoulders. This way is a little bit harder for him. It's okay. And again, I want his head up, elevated. Do not want them down in the pole for this exercise, at least. Good job. There we go. Good boy. Good boy. There he didn't stop. Sometimes he stops really camped on the front legs. He's not. So I'm going to just go into my 4/4 yield. So that was a little bit of a hind quarter yield. This is a 4/4 yield. I'm asking him to, again, lift his withers and move over the shoulders around the haunches. So it's basically the opposite of what we just did. This maneuver can be really, really, really difficult for ECVM horses for obvious reasons. They really have to lift their sling, put weight on the outside to step up and over. And for him, that's about as good as it gets. I would have to show an example on a non-ECVM horse to illustrate the difference. What a horse with a healthy neck will step